Hello everyone, so this season is starting out incredibly interestingly. So we started off with like a Hella build, a Living Tribunal build, and then it seemed like everyone was really leaned into and focusing on Blink, and Nocturne kind of got pushed to the back lines. And I think through a little bit more experimentation, we've found some pretty cool Nocturne builds. She does have heavy RNG elements, but you don't have to move her. You can leave her as just that kind of psychological piece where your opponent doesn't know, are they going to move this card or not, similar to like a Vision. And so with today's build, we have a mixture of both. We have the early game in the Angela, Kitty Pryde, and then the movement pieces in Jeff, Nocturne, and Vision. So depending on what we have, we can always pump up the Angela lane and then reposition that power later to figure out where we need it at. We also have Psylocke to help us ramp into a 4-cost a bit earlier. So if we don't have Blink in hand, we could ramp into Leech on 3, into a Jubilee on 4 if we're digging for that Leech, and Jubilee on 4 is typically going to be a pretty solid play, depending on what we have in our hand, of course. And then the rest of the deck is just good, solid value plays. So we're going to be using our energy efficiently. Almost every single round, we're going to be able to use every single bit of any energy that we have, whether that be using the extra with a Kitty Pryde to bump up an Angela, or just to use that one energy so that we're not pumping up the opponent's Red Hulks. And then we have the ability to maneuver just about every piece of our power so that we can really make it hard for the opponent to know where to position theirs. And then we do have the Leech into Blink line or the Jubilee into Blink line, which both are fantastic. That curve is amazing. Being able to do the Leech, get that solid impact, and then switch it out for a Magneto or a Doctor Doom, a Vision even, are all fantastic hits. You don't have any negative downsides whenever you do a 4-cost into the 5-cost Blink. You can also always save your Kitty Pryde for that last turn Blink play. You can do Kitty Pryde plus Blink, and then you'll switch that. You're impacting the board. It's really hard for the opponent to gauge exactly what you plan to do and where. And so I have had an absolute blast with this list. I've been going on a tear. I think I was 8-1 at one point, and it continued getting better and better. So starting off with the video, I have Hulk slotted in as one of the 6-cost drops. If you have Red Hulk, he is the ideal substitute. He goes higher than Hulk more often, and he has that just potential to impact the board more heavily, making it hard for the opponent to come over the top of that power that you have. But towards the later part of the video, I actually do unlock Red Hulk and we switch it out, and it feels phenomenal. It's seamless. The deck does really well without it, but with it, it's even a little bit better. And so we're going to go ahead and jump over into a couple games. Thank you guys as always for being here. I hope you guys enjoy. It's just regular Hulk. Can regular Hulk beat whatever they drop? I'm not for sure what they're running. It looks like a negative deck that runs the Professor X. Could be like a Havoc. Let's go Hulk in the left lane. I don't want to go Magneto because that's going to pull their resources here. And then it comes down to a tiebreaker, and I don't think that's the version that we win. So just the Hulk in the left lane. We were able to force the retreat from the lockdown, which they thought with the extra energy they'd be able to sneak in the Absorbing Man. We will gladly take the 2-cube retreat. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, so first up we have Havoc Enjoyer. The first location is Thunderbolt's Tower, so we don't want to play our cards over there. We don't have any way to offset that negative ability. The Throne Room cards with the highest power have their power doubled. That's not bad. We do have Psylocke in this build. Oh my goodness. I think this is the first time I've played Psylocke since I've been back. And that animation is incredible. We're going to go ahead and play Psylocke. That way we can get a Jubilee out early. Jubilee to flip Psylocke with Blink, or we just get one of our higher impact cards out of the deck. And so Psylocke is always a good one to ramp just a little bit here. It's not one that we have to use at a particular time to get a particular card. It's just a wide open, able to use pretty easily type of card. So we do get Nocturne, and so we have some really good hits here. Blink is going to be incredible. Leech, Doctor Doom, Hulk, all of them would be great. Probably the low roll would be these two, but it still gets them out of our deck. And clears up that space for something else. So let's go ahead and drop Jubilee down, see what she ends up pulling, and we'll go from there. She pulls the Hulk. And if you have Red Hulk is going to slot into this in his place very, very easily. I mean, it's not even going to miss a beat. I just don't have Red Hulk quite yet. I'll have him in the next couple of days. I have almost enough tokens. I have him pinned in my shop. But as of right now, Hulk is a good replacement. And so Crystal, we're looking at a potential Living Tribunal or Hella deck, right? No, Crystal with Patriot is very interesting. And so we get the good guy Leech, which not necessarily a good guy. But we're going to take away an Ultron ability or maybe some other key cards for the opponent. Let's do Leech into the throne room. We're going to continue to try to buff Angela up. We have the ability with Magneto to pull some of their cards and try to misposition them, but I really don't know what kind of build they're going with other than like an Ultron. And with an Ultron, I think we're okay with that. So Sandman, they're definitely looking at the Ultron, right? We just took away his own reveal ability. Otherwise, we have this, which is a very consistent amount of power. It's 5/5, and it buffs up the Angela touch. And so if they don't get something above 5 here, then this will be doubled. I think we're in a good spot. We probably should have snapped earlier, but with the Leech taking out so many heavy combo decks or on reveal decks that rely on that one specific heavy hitter, Hella decks, it doesn't impact all of them. But the ones that it does, it can be absolutely crippling. We're going to go ahead and take the 1 cube. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. Oh, right. Next up, we have Leroy. With Necrotia, we don't necessarily care for that location, so unless something else really negative comes up, that's probably going to be the location that we aim our Nocturne at. And we do have Angela. We get a copy of their Blue Marvel, which is always interesting to see. There's several builds that run Blue Marvel right now. I think we have a little bit of an advantage against a lot of them. And so Dazzler comes down. They're looking to spread the board, get like an Ultron bonus. We do have Miss Major Leech to take away those on reveal abilities. Those that get a little bit greedy on like one key on reveal are going to be punished the hardest by Leech's change. Leech into Blink or Jubilee into Blink. Both are fantastic lines, and we have both set up here to help increase value that we have on the board. And so with Nocturne, we can change one of these locations. We could, we can't change Miniaturized Lab. We could change Necrotia, but with him having Patriot, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to use Leech. I assume that they're wanting to run like an Ultron, they're wanting to run like a Mystique, and if they don't play it this turn, that would be a mistake. Blue Marvel's not going to be impacted by Leech, but just about everything else, if they have their heavy Ultron heavy in-game, a Valkyrie is not going to be a potential line anymore. It takes away both of those potentials. And so in the left lane, they do go Ant-Man, so it's kind of that hybrid, probably Mysterio, Mockingbird, those sorts of cards, but Leech is going to switch out for either Doctor Doom or Hulk. Both are beautiful. Both are amazing. We have Blink. Next turn, we could do just like a Magneto. And depending on which one we hit here, I think both would be equally fine. We're not going to use Nocturne to move just yet. I kind of want to leave her move ability open. And so Leech did come down, and Ultron, unless they top deck it, is going to be tough to do. They could do an Onslaught. They could have top decked the Ultron, I suppose. And then it's a 2 plus 3, 4. It's going to be a 5 power. A 5 power card. 15. 5, 10, 15. This would be 5. 15 in each lane is tough. I kind of like this. We're going to pull Patriot, Nocturne over here. So wherever they moved Ultron, it's going to be fine. Or Nocturne, it's going to be fine. I think this is what I want to do for this last turn. They move Nocturne over to the left. We have priority, so we're going to yank it back over into the right lane. Dazzler is only going to get buffed up in this location. Los Diablo Space is fine. Our Nocturne is going to change it into Pegasus, which is also fine. Depending on what this last card is right here. Oh, into Brood, which doubles power. Oh, no. Nocturne giveth and Nocturne taketh away. Why did that change 3 times, though? So they moved Nocturne here. I would have assumed this one would have triggered even after we pulled it. But instead, this one triggered 3 times. Interesting interaction. We'll take our 4-cube loss. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have El Jefe. The first location is the Bifrost, so something like a Nocturne could be kind of fun with just the amount of RNG that it introduces. With Kitty Pryde, a lot of times we're not going to actually play it on the last turn. A lot of times it's going to be used for a Kitty Pryde plus a Blink play to switch into something a little bit better. And then early game, it's used to help buff up and scale our Angela. So we have Mr. Sinister. Could be another Patriot deck. Patriot decks are just rampant right now, especially with Leech on the rise. It makes a lot of sense why, but they are very, very common right now. So we're going to go Angela, and then I think we go Leech, and then we go Blink. And so with Storm, the Bifrost is still going to push our cards from here over into the flooded location. And so if we end up getting Nocturne, we can use that. If not, we do have Blink into Leech. This looks like Cerebro 2, right? Go ahead and snap into it. I think it's Cerebro 2. I think the pretty standard line is going to be like Negasonic at some point. We're looking at a... Ooh, if it's Negasonic in the left lane, that would hurt. A Leech. Interesting. So our on reveals don't trigger now, which I guess fits Cerebro 2. We're not going to be able to take away the Mystique, so maybe it was a mistake to not play Leech this turn, but I did want to change this flooded location because I think they're going to be able to push to put a lot of power across the board. And so Sewer System is beautiful, exactly what we would want to see there, because that's going to negatively afflict their cards, and then we can positively impact ours. We can move Nocturne over this turn, or wait until next turn, do something. Oh no, Magneto's not going to pull anything. So we can move Nocturne over. We can throw something like Vision. So 2, maybe a Nightcrawler, 4, 6, 12. So an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 8 plus that, I think, would be fine. We have the Jeff to support it just a little bit further as well. So I'm going to go Vision. We don't want them to necessarily play for killing because I think we have an advantage. Blue Marvel in the left lane and then into a Cerebro plus Mystique could be very, very common. And I think we have the means to outshine that. So we are going to go Angela into Dr. Doom. That's going to put a little bit here, put a little bit here, and we're going to scale up our Angela, which I think for them, this lane is going to be a wash. So I think they're relying on being able to win that right location. Let's go ahead and lock in the Dr. Doom play. They could have Negasonic, but I don't think that ever wins them mid. Maybe the left lane. The Mystique comes down, copies Blue Marvel, which helps them in the middle location into the Brood. We already have the 7. We have Dr. Doom come down, so we are going to push a lot over into the right lane. As long as Nocturne does not taketh away, we are able to hold down the 4-cube win versus the Cerebro 2 deck. We will absolutely take it. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Sea Cucumber. The first location is Murder World, so we want to avoid that. They have a Sunspot with a wicked variant, but we have Kitty Pryde that we're going to be able to continue to use. Leech is a possible play depending on what else we draw into. Sunspot into Jeff, we have to look out for them wanting to do some kind of lockdown component. Maybe it's a like She-Not where they're wanting to extend the game to a turn 7, so something like Nocturne could help us a lot there. I'm going to go Psylocke and Kitty Pryde and see if maybe we can swing this middle location and in turn swing Asgard in our favor. We couldn't compete for fighting our cards directly there, but we are able to swing it in our favor with the Kitty Pryde and Psylocke just barely, and so we will get the Asgard bonus, I think, unless Kitty Pryde pulls up before... Oh, it's after turn 4. We get one more turn. I was thinking that was turn 4.
Opponent snapped.
So they got Psylocke down. We can do Leech, which would take away things like Cannonball. We could do Vision, which would be a little bit more versatile. But I like the idea of doing Kitty Pryde and then Leech. If we top deck Blink, so if for some reason we're able to win here, that's great. Professor X in this location is not as great, unfortunately. We may be able to win this one, which is kind of nice. Their Sunspot can obviously scale. We have a Jeff somewhere in our deck, but this allows us to draw into additional resources. We're looking for like a Blink. We get Nocturne, which is not awful, but it's not perfect either. A vision is a decent amount of power. We could fish or blink, but it's not going to be able to rotate anything. So we could also do something a little more mid-range, like Angela into Nocturne. If we don't top deck Jeff next turn, this lane becomes a bit tough to win, because I think they're going to skip here, absorb some energy, and then go from there. I'm going to play Vision so that he's mobile. They did play a card, though, so it's just the Nebula, so not a complete skip, but enough so that Sunspot does absorb some. We get Jeff, which I'm hoping is enough to steal it away. I think we're going to do this. It feels strange, but I think we're going to move Vision over, play Jubilee, which is going to pull out Blink. Since the last card we played is Jeff, he's locked in place, so we don't have to worry about him switching. And it'd give us the most power possible in the left lane. I think they have to fight for Asgard, assuming that they have the Baxter Building location 1. So they use a Jane Foster. That's going to allow them to scale by 1 in that middle location, but that scale is not going to be enough. We should be able to hold that location down, and that 1 scale is not quite there. We're able to hold down the left, hold down mid, and we are going to grab the 4-cube victory once again. Let's go ahead and take it and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Slim Possible. The first location is Lake Hellas and Echo. We don't have any ongoings, do we? No, so we don't have to worry about Echo there, since we're not going super heavy into the ongoing line. Asteroid M is interesting. We'll be able to play cards into the Angela lane and maybe have them immediately move out, so like Nocturne, Jubilee, even Leech. And so that way we can buff up Angela and still help impact that other location. But we are going to go Angela, and then we'll push from there. So the Shadowlands are interesting. We do have Nocturne, so if they are going with a... So if they're going with a magic line, we're going to be able to take that away. It doesn't look like a magic line anymore. It looks like they're going with maybe just a flood into wanting... Ooh. Hiln is not a bad location for the Nocturne. We have Jeff. We have... That could be a cool line, right? We have Kitty Pryde plus Jeff, and then we can move the Jeff over into Kiln and drop Blink. I kind of like it. It looks like they're going with some kind of flood deck, so maybe like a Blue Marvel, an Onslaught, an Ultron, something where their cards are protected, and they want to be able to buff them up. Moon Girl, though. I really don't know what kind of build they're going with, then. We're hoping to draw Leech here. No, that's not Leech. I still like the idea of doing the Jeff move into Blink. It's just random enough that everything is decent. Leech would be the least ideal. Jubilee would pull and thin our deck a bit. Hulk, Magneto would both be great there. And so we're going to go ahead and move it. I think it's a funny line to move the Jeff and then switch him out. I think it does hit Jeff, unfortunately, or Leech, unfortunately. But that is, it's okay. Unless they have a way to buff this up, then they might. Like a Khazar? A Khazar? Khazar could be the line. A Quinjet. So this is very similar to like the flood style build that I really, really enjoyed. It was a Moon Girl double down, but it just used so much in like that Moon Girl duplication. Sometimes you would skip with She-Hulk. Otherwise, you could do like a double Khazar. You could do like 2 Maximi. So you can get some pretty good reach. I'm going to go Dr. Doom into the lake, and then we'll see. I don't know that it's enough to be able to push us over the edge, but we will definitely see. So the Blue Marvel is huge, pumping up where they need to. Titania on the left side pushes Squirrel Girl over. We get their Titania, and we also get a second Titania in the left lane. So both Titanias will stay on our side of the board. That might be enough to swing it back in our favor, just barely. The Titania came back to bite them. Otherwise, they had a very interesting build, a very cool, they didn't have to worry about Killmonger, and cards were reduced so they could do a lot of impact and things on the last turn. Very, very unique. We were able to hold down the 2. We will take it. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have None of This Crab. The first location is Baxter Building. We have the dynamic duo, the Leech into Blink, which I think is just so funny that Leech went down to 4 just in time for Blink to come out, because it really enables his ability to be used. It was previously in like a lockjaw rotation, And then now with Blink being a very similar vein to Lockjaw, but a little bit more controlled. It's not as chaotic, and so you can do a lot more impactful things. Unfortunately, Blink does get hit with the Icebox, but maybe we'll be fine. I like the idea of at least threatening the Baxter building and yanking that away. I like just that mind game of, are we going to move it? And if so, is it going to cause me to lose the game? And so I like that kind of realm of doubt that it puts into the opponent's minds. We could still do the Leech because they have Ant-Man, they have Polaris, so they may be using some ongoing abilities or some on-reveal cards. Like maybe they drop Sentry and they're looking to drop Annihilus. Maybe they're looking to completely cap out this left lane, actually. And so I'm going to play Leech into the right location. I don't think it's wrong to do that. They could be doing, just like a light movement build, which I like. Cerebro 5 is what it is. With the Ant-Man, with Miles, with Polaris, with Nocturne, it is definitely Cerebro 5. That is the only thing that it could be. I think we go Jubilee here. We have two good pulls in Vision and Magneto. Two not so good pulls in the Kitty Pryde and the Psylocke, but it's fine. They can't do any on reveals, so their Doctor Doom can't, if they had it in hand, won't be very useful. Let's go Jubilee in the left lane. If we get Magneto there, great. That gives us a chance to possibly win. They could be looking at doing Enchantress. Superflow comes down, but it doesn't really impact us as much as it could have. With Jubilee, we do get Vision, which is a nice little touch. And then we do grab Magneto. So I think it's always fun to do something like this. 8, 9. We're going to pull out most of their cards here, right? We pull out all but 2. That's 5, 6, 10, 11. I think this would be okay. I'm going to use Magneto into the Hotel Inferno. We might pull their Nocturne. It might come back to bite us. But we need to compete here. If we can potentially win this location and keep it as Baxter building, that's a huge boon for us. And so let's go Magneto. What do they drop? Just the singular Cerebro. Interesting. So now we have a guarantee to pull 2 from the left, hopefully 3. 3 is good. It gives us a boost in the left lane. Barely. Okay, with the Jeff moving over, we break the tiebreaker. We make sure that their Omega Red does not go off, because if they won a Hotel Inferno, that would have been enough to further the lead in the right lane. We are glad to grab the 2. This is another application for Nocturne that I found very interesting. But Cerebro, any Cerebros, a lot of times you can identify that deck and most of their components pretty early on. And so something like what we have with the good cards, it's a little bit harder to read, and you just get value out onto the board every single game. We'll take the 2. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Koopa Troopa. The first location is the hub, gives us Warpath. We have Psylocke to ramp into an early 4 cost if we want to. Depending on what we draw here, we might. Playing an early Leech, playing an early Jubilee could be pretty decent. Actually, we're not going to be able to do anything early, are we? Let's go ahead and play the Psylocke. And then next turn, I plan on dropping Nocturne in that same location. And then we can do a turn 4 5 cost, or we can play Leech on turn 4 like we normally would. And so let's go ahead and play Nocturne. There is a chance that this right lane turns into Mirror Dimension. And so turn 5, we may not reveal anything, or turn 4, we may not reveal anything either. Either that or we get a random resource from the hub. So our Red Hulk is getting pumped up. And he's just one of those massive resources that it's just so hard to do anything about. Let's go ahead and play the Leech. I'm going to play Leech into the Nebula lane. We want to stop it from scaling. They had Zabu and Jeff, so we have to look out for, I don't know, maybe it's like a Hawk. Ooh, Iron Lad hits Blink, which takes away Jeff and brings out Nocturne. Interesting. So I think it's just like a good cards rotation list that they're wanting to run. And so with Leech down, they're not going to have any on reveals. We can go Vision and then move him. That keeps Nebula from scaling. And then right now our Red Hulk is just a monstrosity. He is just a force to be reckoned with. Cannonball is not going to do anything because the on reveal gets taken away. If we had a 1 cost, no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be anything we would ever want to do. We do have Magneto to try to maybe like pull some of their cards out of Lemuria, but we could also just do this, or maybe we do something like this. Puts a decent amount of power in the left lane, a decent amount in mid, and it does abandon the right location. And so Red Hulk, their Red Hulk does come down, not quite as big as ours. We have the middle location. As long as the Nocturne does not like stab us in the back, which can happen, we are able to hold down the 2 against the interesting build utilizing the Iron Lad, the Blink. But it looked like there was several cards in there, and it's hard to really control exactly what's going to happen. And so this one has a few really good hits to get as much value consistently as you possibly can. Let's go ahead and jump over into one more. All right, next up we have Tungsten Walk. The first location is the White Hot Room. We have Psylocke, so we can play a Psylocke on 2 into a Jubilee on 4, potentially capping out the White Hot Room and getting extra energy. But knowing they have Red Hulk in hand, getting extra energy, is it that good? I don't know. They are running Angela. They have the Red Hulk, so it could be a very similar build to what we have. I really like this Psylocke variant from the Season Pass. We can't play into White Hot Room, so I'm not going to dig with Jubilee. Instead, I'm going to go Leech. Try and take away any kind of on reveal that they might have. That's a Jeff over there, right? So they opted to play Jeff this turn instead of a 3 cost. And so we have Leech, which is going to take away some of their ability. But now we have Jubilee. If Jubilee pulls Blink, that's going to give us a better resource in the Leech. If Jubilee pulls Jeff, perfect. That means we can just drop Vision over there on turn number 5 to try to fight for that location. If they can't cap it out this turn, of course. And so they have Hope Summer. So it's not a... I was thinking it might be a similar build to what we have, but it does look like it is varied quite a bit. So Jubilee pulls Angela, which is not great to pull it in that late. Our Red Hulk is getting absolutely stacked because we're using energy. We use pretty much every piece of energy or every little bit of energy that we have pretty efficiently. So we're going to go ahead and play Vision into the left lane. That's going to give us extra 3 on the last turn, allowing us to do like Red Hulk plus Nocturne. We could do probably Red Hulk plus Nocturne, honestly. And so Blink comes down, but because of Leech, it doesn't have the on reveal, so it doesn't rotate anything. They actually have 1 extra energy compared to what we have here. And we get the Blink, which would be Dr. Doom. I think instead we really just need something high power. So we have Vision, we have Red Hulk, and then I'm going to go Nocturne into mid. That way they have to fight for every single location. And I think we have a good spot. I think we have a good shot here. Okay, so they move Jeff over. They do abandon the left lane, so maybe that's the line. We lose our Kitty Pryde. They play Stature as well. That's not the line. Yeah. Overpower the left with the massive 21 power Hulk. Nocturne in mid. We had the right lane padded with the Vision, and we will take the 2 cubes. And that is where we're going to go ahead and end this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.